If you lose your job right now and you're like, oh my God, I can't make my mortgage, you're not going into foreclosure. You're going to sell and walk away with a profit.
Yeah, I don't know how many people are underwater, but it ain't many.
It's not like it was then. But what happens now, you talk about interest rates. The Fed says they want to raise interest rates in 2022. And home affordability is at its lowest levels on pretty much every chart that you look at. It's going to become more expensive to buy a home then.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's the interesting thing, man, because like at some point there has to be a ceiling to like what somebody's willing to pay with, you know, how much they're making. And I think locally it's going to really determine, you know, how you got to look like obviously nationwide what's happening with the government, like we just said, but you also got to look locally. And it's funny, man, because when COVID happened, everyone said Vegas is going to be the hardest hit. Vegas got crushed in 2008, the worst. And your whole economy is based on tourism and people aren't traveling and all this stuff, right? And that was part of the reason why everyone tried to run. And I go, I'm going to bet that it's not what you guys think it is. I'm going to take the minority mindset. And so it was right. But now when I look at Vegas, you know, a year and a half later, man, what we have going on is crazy. We have all these people coming from Cali because they're just over it in Cali with just all the drama. They're moving here. They're buying up these properties that, you know, to them is cheap. They're like, oh, $1 million? Like, dude, this is a great deal. Like, I live in a shack for $1 million. You're telling me I could get this on a golf course? Like, dude, sign me up. No appraisal needed. Like, I'll just buy it right now. I'm cool. You're seeing that. You're seeing all this new development coming, all these jobs, everything else. And I'm like, to me, I think Vegas is going to be one of the hottest markets for a while, just with everything it's got going. You got the no state income tax. You see, all these YouTubers moving here for this very reason. Like it's, you know, locally, I look at it and I'm like, just having the data of my own flips and seeing how much more they've been selling for every single time, and then also looking at the luxury market as well. You know, the luxury market in Vegas has just exploded. It's insane.
So tell me, you were talking about why people are leaving Cali. I know you've talked about this before. Talk to me about that, because I'm hearing that everywhere I go. I was in Austin, Texas. I was in Arizona. Now I'm in Vegas. And this is all in the last couple months. And each place I went, these are all near Cali. Every single one of those places said, so many people are moving here from California.
Yeah.
Why?
It's funny. I think those are the top three. I was actually in Austin. Yeah, that's where we met. We met in
Austin,
FinCon.
Yeah.
Yep. And I know many people that have moved to Austin recently. And Austin ain't cheap, dude. I mean,
It's not cheap at all.
Expensive. You know, Dallas and those places are much cheaper, but Austin's becoming the tech hub. That's why everyone's moving there. It's like, dude, should I be in Silicon Valley or should I be in Texas with no state income tax, where I still can go meet all these tech people and hire from the tech workforce, but it's just going to be significantly less. Like Elon Musk, great example of that.
He moved a big part of his manufacturing plant from Cali to Austin.
Yep. So I think tech is going to continue to do that, just because I don't know who would want to own a business in California, because with most tech companies, right, like you're tech. You don't need to be locally anywhere, right? Unless you need to be around like Apple and all these other things. But if you're starting a brand new tech company, there's no reason to ever be in Cali.
Because the taxes,
the restrictions they put on you for your business. I mean, like that was part of what made Elon leave, is like during the pandemic, you know, he wanted to get his workers back to work and they wouldn't let him. They're like, we're going to fine you every day. We're going to shut your factory down. We're going to do this. And Elon's like, dude, let us work. And so I think when you combine California's just very, you know, restrictive nature, plus the taxes, plus with the world going more remote and digital, like it's starting to lose its appeal as like the beach is nice and the weather's great, but man, how much is it really worth?
Yeah, I mean, I love I've been to San Diego, I've been to LA. I definitely like SoCal. It's a beautiful place. And, you know, I haven't spent a lot of time in Vegas, but I'm here now. I've been to Arizona. It's not the same, but everywhere I go, everyone, you know, they're like, don't start a business in Cali.
Yeah.
And it's just crazy to, you know, you brought that up now, and it's like, man, like, what does that mean for California? Because I know a lot of people that watch this channel, or one of our biggest demographic is in California.
And I bet you they're all looking to leave. If you're looking to leave Cali, you're thinking about it. Comment below, because I bet you a big chunk of them are thinking about it. I'll just say, like, from my experience in Cali, I've, some of my employees live in Cali that work remote. And I have 8 properties in Big Bear, California right now, which I Airbnb. And I started buying those properties 4 years ago. And, at the time I was like, dude, I think Big Bear's undervalued. It's pretty cheap for California. It's pretty cheap for, a snow cabin town. Like, I think it's going to go up. And I was right. My first house I bought there, I paid $200,000 for it. Today it's worth about $450. Wow. 4 years later.
Wow.
And it's just that market has gone bonkers. I bought one that I was going to keep. I bought it for $300,000. We were doing a garage conversion, making it square footage, and the city just popped us for all these permits and all this crap, and it took 2 years to get it complete.
Holy
I
cow.
just now finished it 2 years later, right? And in any normal world, you would lose money. Like, taking that long to renovate a place.
Yeah, I mean, you're not getting any rent. You're paying money for taxes and all your expenses with no money coming in.
Yeah, and I got loans on it and everything. Like, I was bleeding money on that house. But guess what? 2 years later, by the time it got done, I looked at the prices and I go, let's just sell it. I listed it for $700,000.
Wow, and you bought it for what?
$300,000.
Holy moly.
Yeah, and I mean, I don't know how much we ended up putting into it after all this, maybe like $60,000. But like...
Wow.
At the time when I bought it, I thought it was worth, probably $450 when it was all fixed up, and it's crazy. But long story short, I've had these rentals for a long time. They were doing great, making great cash flow. Also being a great resource for the city. I'm bringing in tourism. We're paying our taxes. Like, it's great for everybody. But when you're Cali, you don't like great things, apparently. And so what they did was they started restricting Airbnbs. They said, hey,
really?
You can only own, I think it was like one or something. Like, even though I was already grandfathered in, they're like, yeah, from now on, people can only have one Airbnb. And we're going to make just all the rules harder. We're going to make check-ins harder. We're going to make the taxes higher. We're going to restrict how many you can own. We're going to make just everything about running an Airbnb business way harder. And it was the first time where I'm just like, man, is it even worth all this headache to deal with these guys? Like, and if this is just the last couple of years, where's this going?
Yeah.
Do I want to keep owning real estate here? Because it's such a pain.
So what's going to happen to housing prices in Cali?
That's the thing, man. A lot of people were thinking, oh, well, then Cali prices are going to go down. But I mean, I think what happens is you get just different people migrating there from China, from these other things that,
really?
They're like, oh man, like, I got to get out of China. This place sucks. Like, there's always somebody, people from Cali are like, I got to get out of Cali and go to Vegas. People from China are like, I got to get out of China and go to Cali. So
it's like a funnel. People still going to Cali, but people that are in Cali are leaving.
You're getting a lot of foreigners who are going to Cali.
Interesting.
But you're not getting anybody move from Wyoming to Cali. Nobody's migrating to Cali
from the States.
Yeah.
So if you're a business owner, then you're saying stay out of Cali, look into some of these other places where everyone else is moving to, because there's a lot of people moving, demand is coming, and if you want to flip things like houses, there's a lot of opportunity here still.
Yeah, for sure. A ton here still. And the other thing too with Cali, part of that story was the permits. Dude, getting permits and anything done with the city is just such a headache, man, compared to other states.
I've dealt with that before. I made a video on my worst real estate deal ever. This is a property that I bought in the city of Detroit, and they were permitting me or finding me for everything. And what happened was, this is like after the 2008 crash.
Mm-hmm.
So like the city went bankrupt, and like they did not have inspectors, and an inspector would come out and they would say, your electrical riser needs to be 13 feet. Like, okay, so then we would make it 13 feet, and they'd fine us for whatever reason. We make it 13 feet. The next inspector would come and say, why is it 13 feet? It needs to be 10 feet. Like, the last guy said 13. And so now we had to change it again. And then they would permit us for everything. I mean, they made us pay $100 permit fee to add smoke detectors. They made us pay $100 permit fee to pay for windowsills. They made us, permit fees for everything. If you want to paint the kitchen, we had to pay a permit fee. It made no sense.
Like, what is the permit needed? Like, we're painting.
Exactly. And so, I mean, I think that's a good point where, especially if you want to be in a business like a side hustle or flipping real estate, like, you have to kind of look at the jurisdiction that you're in.
Yeah.
because different cities are going to have different rules.
Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed the shorter clip from the longer videos, here's another clip that I think you'll love. And if you're interested in learning more about how to invest your money in the stock market, our team put together an amazing guide that will walk you through how to invest your money in the stock market. This guide is completely free when you sign up for our daily newsletter. So if you want to read this guide, all you got to do is click that button right over there. Thank you for watching, and as always, keep hustling.